Greetings, Earthlings. I am here today with Charla Hathaway. Charla Hathaway is a playwright and actor. What other things am I missing here, Charla?
Oh, my goodness. I used to be an intimacy coach, and that's, I think, why I'm here in that route there. And now I'm kind of retired at age 72, but I'm writing plays about naked as my age and tales of sex magic, talking about being in sex work for all the 2 decades that I've done it.
Right on. And so you were telling me a super interesting story when we walked in. You said you turned to sex work at the age of 54. And I guess that's not the first thing that people would think that somebody that age would turn to. But I want to hear all about it.
Right. I became a whore at 54. That's one of the songs in my Naked at My Age play. It kind of surprised me, too, because I lived in a small Colorado town. I mean, I was, in the League of Women Voters and ran for city council and taught violin and had kind of a regular life. Got divorced at age 50, moved to Austin, Texas, where it was warmer. And gosh, I was looking for a job, and I kind of didn't want to teach school for $100 a day as a substitute. And I saw the ad on the back of the Austin Chronicle, escort of Austin, make $5,000 a week. And I thought, oh my God, I probably won't make $5,000, but I'd always been kind of curious about that. Had kind of played with my fantasies about, the expensive call girl with the slit up her back dress. And I thought, my God, you suppose, and I looked down at my end table, and 5 of the books I'm reading, the New Age Sexual Healers, Women Working, Real Life Nude Girls by Carol Queen, and I thought, I'm interested in sex, and maybe I'll just answer that ad, and I did, and I became a call girl. I lied about my age for the first time. Took off 10 years, and they said, we can't assure you any work, and I said, you don't really have to. And it was really a very fascinating way for me to grab a hold of my own doubts and stuff, because all at once, this shy girl, in a way that had never really thought sex was about her, it was always about somebody else, they came knocking at my door, and it was all about me, and I was supposed to teach them. And I realized I just started slowing up and breathing. I didn't even know about the word Tantra, but I was kind of teaching Tantra. And soon a client came in and said, hey, I really ought to introduce you to a sexual healer friend of mine. And so it was just a few months that I really worked as a prostitute or call girl and began my education and my career onto other things too in the field.
That's an amazing story. So I'm totally curious. So I feel like even for people who think of themselves as relatively progressive minded, that there is some kind of stigma attached to sex work, some kind of judgment.
Oh,
it's like, even
horrible.
though, say, I think of myself as totally open. I think it should be legal. I think it should be looked at as how anybody else working with their body makes a living. But I don't know, if my sister would all of a sudden be like, hey, I'm going to make my work this way, I'd be like, really? But was there any of that?
It's a huge stigma. I mean, I'd be at a cocktail party, and how do you introduce yourself? A relationship coach, an intimacy professional. How far do you go? And I feel like I'm constantly making up stuff, and still, I think that's why in my 70s now I want to write a play about the 12 stories of my wonderful clients, and what do they come, who sees sex workers? Why? What kind of things do they come for? Can you teach intimacy? Because I want to take some of that stigma you're talking about and say, hey, sex care is health care. And the women that do it, and men, whatever things they're doing, it could be just, white tantra, not pink tantra or red tantra, or whatever you bring to that puzzle. And for me, it was just an evolution. I didn't know there was this huge field of sex education, which I'm helping make bigger now with a PhD and whatever, giving workshops and whatever. But we got a mountain to climb here.
Hmm. And I think it's you said, for instance, that you weren't sure that you would get work. They were like, we don't know if we can guarantee you work, but you found work. Is there anything that you want to tell us about older women and their sexuality?
Other women, did you say?
Older women.
Older women. Yes. It's like, I am so glad I didn't find this 10 or 20 years earlier. I could have been somewhat clueless. I mean, I knew my body would tell me yes or no what was right. And I knew I could make some of my own decisions, too, and take the lead. I mean, thank God, that's what healed me in my own sexuality, is being able to, there's a song I wrote for the first play. It goes, "Go straight for the goods, dude." It was about sex in my 20s. So the field, electing sexuality work, in whatever kind of field it is, it can be so healing for yourself, so enlightening, because it's so shoved under the rug and covered up and stigmatized and shamed. And if we can take that part of our life, Bobby, and bring it out into the sunshine of our scrutiny and go with it and drive with it and discover it. Hey, man, I figure if you can drive well in the bedroom, then the boardroom is a cinch. In other words, you start in your own private life. I've seen these professional women, they fall apart in relationships. They can't, take the initiative, or, my boyfriend kisses me too hard, too wet, too fast. Well, I don't know what to do about it. So I help show them.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Cool. I know you read the play, of The Oldest Profession.
Yeah.
What can you tell us about like those women? Like, what kind of insight do you have into who those women are and who?
I tried out for that play and I thought, gosh, darn it, if I don't get a part in that play because I'm the real thing. But the people that are in it are so great. I'm so glad I don't have that much professional acting experience. I think elective sexuality. When I talk about anything coercive, I think you can work in a factory or in a retail store and it feels somewhat coercive. You really don't have a lot of choices.
Absolutely.
But when you really elect that and it comes from you and you feel like you can design your own work and you can attract the people that you want. I used to think, oh my God, I'm 54. I only have 10 years to do this. Bullshit. I got better and better. I could do it full time now in my 70s if I wanted to. There are always people a little older or a little younger that hunger for something that's authentic in sexuality, a way for them to see that their choices might open up a bit. Their ability and skill at getting consent is very, very teachable. And so I think that the play being about older women in the profession, I'm so glad it's about the profession. I'm so glad that it's even older in age. And I actually think it's a field, our body might not work the same as it does 10, 20, 30 years ago, but the possibility for depth and preciousness within sexuality increases as we age. And touch is the only one of our five senses that actually grows more acute as we age.
Nope, didn't know that.
The depth of it more, we don't hear as well, see, and smell, whatever. But that touch, you go into a senior home, and I noticed this with my mother. All you need to do is put your hand on their shoulder or on their forearm or on their knee as you speak. And that just galvanizes your conversation to a whole nother level.
Right.
We have so pushed away the sense of touch and feared it. If we can begin giving the message to our younger folks, hey, you don't have to feel like you have to hurry and get it all right now. Take your time, because sex is something that can get better and better. And if you really want the toe curling, tingle up your spine stuff, you just might have to wait a few decades.
Wow. All right.